بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome again. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something that's very important to us, that sometimes we might not realize how important it really is. We spend a lot of time in investments in our life. We invest in education, we invest in our friendships, in our families, in our jobs, sports, a lot of different things. Sometimes we forget how to really invest in our deen, and most importantly, in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We think this is something that's theoretical and not easy to put into practice. I want to give you guys an example from the Qur'an that shows us how, yes, we can put this into practice and invest really into our relationship with Allah and to see the benefits that could come out of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the story of the wife of Imran in Surah Al Imran. The family of Imran is a very well-known family, a noble family, the family of many prophets, including Zakaria, Yahya, and Isa alayhim salam. So when Imran's wife first found out that she was pregnant, she made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and she said, Rabbi inni nadartu laka ma fi batni muharraran. She said, Oh Allah, I'm dedicating to you the baby in my stomach only for you, muharraran, free of all worldly obligations. I want to give up my son for you and your service. I want my son to grow up working with the masjid, being an imam, being a leader in the masjid, taking care of it. I don't want him to have to worry about any of the worldly obligations. I just want him to serve you. And then she says, فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي. She says, Oh Allah, accept from me this offering. And she says this why? Because she doesn't know. Maybe she will have a miscarriage, or maybe the child will refuse to work in that type of service, or anything could happen. So she says, Oh Allah, I'm putting in my intention and I'm telling you what my plans are, and I'm asking you to accept it. So that way, if things don't go the way I plan, at least I could be rewarded for my intention. And she says all of this knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can hear her dua and He will answer. So when she gave birth to her baby, Allah says, فَلَمَّا وَضَعَتْهَا قَالَتْ رَبِّ إِنِّي وَضَعْتُهَا أُنْثَى. The first thing she did, she called out to Allah and she said, Oh Allah, I had a baby girl. And Allah says, وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا وَضَعَتْ. Allah already knows that she had a baby girl, but she felt the need, she felt that she needs to tell Him first. And then Allah says, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. Allah says that there are certain situations in life that are suitable for a female and certain situations in life that are more suitable for a male. And the plans that she had forth for her son could not be carried out the way that she had planned because she now had a girl. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assures her that your baby girl is going to be unlike any other boy because her baby was very special. Her baby was Maryam alayhi salam, the mother of Isa. So after she gets over this shock and she tells Allah, okay, I'm going to carry on with my plans. And she says, Inni sammaytuha Maryam, I'm going to name her Maryam, and I'm asking you, O Allah, to protect her, wa dhurriyyataha, and her children, and her future generation, min ash-shaytanir rajim. O Allah, please take care of my daughter, take care of her future children, and her generations to come. So she's thinking ahead already for her children and for the future, and thinking not financially, not in terms of their careers, but in terms of protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted this baby, this offering, accepted this mother and her daughter بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ, in the best type of acceptance. And then أَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He planted her in an environment that is suitable for this service. He created the world around her in the exact way that she needs it, so she can thrive and truly dedicate her life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She had a place in the masjid set aside for her where she could study and worship and really dedicate herself to the service of Allah. And then Allah says, وَكَفَّلَهَا زَكَرِيَّا. Allah says, we made Zakaria alayhi salam take care of her. He was the one who was fully in charge of her. Anything she needed, any kind of care that she needed, he was the one responsible for her. So anytime Zakaria alayhi salam would walk into her room, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He would find with her rizq. She would have all sorts of food and provisions that He didn't bring. So he was surprised and he says, Ya Maryam, anna laki hada? I'm supposed to provide for you. Where did you get all of this from? And she told him that this rizq came from Allah. Inna Allah yarzuqu man yasha bighayri hisab. She tells him and she reminds him, this young girl, she reminds this prophet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for anyone bighayri hisab, without waiting for anything to come back. And from this instance, Zakaria alayhi salam learns from her, and there's another story that mentions how he went forth and made dua for a baby despite his old age, and Allah gave him the Prophet Yahya alayhi salam. But that's a story for another time. I want us to really focus now on the wife of Imran and her daughter Maryam and the lessons that we can learn from such role models. First, the wife of Imran was not even mentioned by name. She wasn't a prophet. She was just a regular person, just like me or you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard her dua and He accepted it. You don't have to be a prophet to have your dua accepted. This is something that's very important for us to understand. And the second lesson that I really want to focus on is her relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knew everything about her thought process, her ideas, her plans, everything she bounced back with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She would talk to Him freely, the way you would talk to a friend. Even when she first had her baby and she discovered that it was a girl, the first thing she thought was, I have to tell Allah I had a baby girl. And this is a beautiful relationship, and that there was no barriers in her communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should have that type of relationship where anything that comes to mind, we should be free to talk to Allah the way we talk to our friends, to always turn back to Him, to re-strengthen our relationship. It doesn't only come from salah and reading Quraan and other acts of worship. We need to constantly put in that effort to talk to Allah and think of Him as our friend so He can be our protector, the way we deserve to have such a relationship. And then the last thing I want to focus on is the story of Maryam herself. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا. He created for her the perfect environment for her to thrive in, but He didn't force her into that position. She picked it. The same way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans everything in our life and makes it perfect for us in our unique situation so that we can come closer to Him. He gives me the struggles that He knows only I can handle, and only I can use these to become closer to Him. Because if I had your tests, then maybe that's going to put me down. And if I had your blessings, maybe that's going to hold me back. But Allah knows my unique capabilities and He gives me what I need. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to make it to Jannah. He wants us to build this connection with Him, and He pushes us towards Him. And it's up to us to make that step and to make that choice. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who have a strong relationship with Him. I ask Allah to make us of those who choose to connect with Him and make us of those who are guided. Ameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you for joining me again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.